Before I show you these clips, keep in mind that Derek Chauvin is the police officer who put his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and murdered him in broad daylight. That's who Derek Chauvin is. Now watch these.
So the Minnesota Republican Party had their annual convention this week, and they held a moment of silence for Derek Chauvin. If you don't know who Derek Chauvin is, he's the man currently serving decades in prison for murdering George Floyd. There has been a tremendous push on the right to try to pardon Derek Chauvin. They say that he did not murder George Floyd despite him being found guilty, and despite the world seeing the horrific video of him murdering George Floyd. And so Chauvin is currently serving decades behind bars. He has both federal prison time and state prison time. And well, if Donald Trump pardons the federal charges, he still has state prison time. But this week, Minnesota Republicans at their annual convention decided to hold a moment of silence for him. A moment of silence for a man who murdered George Floyd.
Disgusting in and of itself. The cowardice comes in this next clip.
Well, that came from the body, of course. Didn't come from the dais. And the body elected to have that moment of silence. We had maybe 10 seconds or so. There are a lot of people, I think, that believe that Derek Chauvin was improperly convicted and not treated well. And those people wanted to have a moment of silence and recognition because they felt that way.
Do you agree with them?
Well, I don't think I'm going to comment on that. I mean, the court system had its verdict, and I'm not going to challenge the court.
Did you like the fact that a convicted murderer had a moment of silence at your convention?
I don't think I should comment on that.
Why not?
Well, because it indicates whether I do or don't agree with something that came out of the court. So I think I'll just let that pass.
But just as one example, from May 16th of this year, you said that this gentleman was wrongfully convicted, which is going against something that came out of the court. And once again, that's just one example. We can go back and find other examples of you, maybe perhaps dealing with Roe v. Wade, where you disagreed with something that the courts did decades ago. So don't give us this bullshit that you don't want to publicly speak for or against something that came out of the court. You're dodging the questions. Do you agree with the Minnesota Republican Party holding a moment of silence for a man who murdered a civilian in broad daylight on the streets in Minneapolis? Yes or no? Don't give me this bullshit about the courts. You have had no problem speaking out against other court rulings. You just know that the answer that you want to give is going to cast you in an extraordinarily bad light, and you're a fucking coward because you won't stand on what you truly believe.